J-Wank. J-Wank.
So, ladies and gentlemen, how's everybody doing? Hopefully, you all feel a little fresher than I do. It is Friday. Got back from East versus West on Wednesday afternoon. That was a hell of an event. It really delivered on a lot of levels, I feel. In terms of predictions, I got a pretty good result, actually. I'm trying to think. Let me just go through the matches. Gladkaya and Ivanfi. I got that wrong. That's not a great start, is it? Irina Gladkaya coming back into the sport. Great to see her back in. She's been out for a little while. Brigitte was amazing. What I would say is great about that match was it's the first match on the card. And it's always nice when the first match on any arm wrestling card goes and turns into a banger. The reason being is that it gets everybody in the mood for dancing, romancing, and giving it all tonight. Write that down. Now, Ivanfi, I can't take my hat off enough. Thought you might get outlasted. Thought you might get out arm wrestled. Turned out to be the other way. Brigitte was amazing. Great performance. Very, very well-deserved win. And yeah, she's super active and looking exceptional at the moment. So every credit to her. I saw Brigitte after the back of the hall. She's a super polite lass. Just congratulated her and she was typically stoic. So yeah, great job. Azat. Oh my God. So Daniel Ustinov, I picked as the winner in that match, and I actually thought that it would be not easy, but comfortable is the right descriptive term to give there. I did think that Daniel would win comfortably. In my opinion, I got that match wrong. I know Daniel won the match, but I want to tell you, in my eyes, he didn't. In my eyes, after watching that match, I honestly think that Azat Srapyan was unbelievably unlucky, let's just say that. I think he won the match. I think the second to last start, he went that extra mile and he deserved the win. I know there was some kind of a slight technical with the pad, but it only came. The elbow pad only shifted because he basically drove Daniel off the side of it in a single motion. I mean, go back and watch the tape, you'll see. I had a really good shot of that. And for me, yeah, I thought Azat was incredibly unfortunate not to walk away with that. But that's arm wrestling, that's sport, you know, some you win, some you lose. On that occasion, he came up a little short because of the issue with the pad. He'd gone through his elastic limit to get that win. It's very difficult when you do that to have any... to be able to do that twice is extremely hard. And Azat, feel for you, mate. If you do see this video, really feel for you. Felt that you won the match. For Daniel, I think he started a little bit defensive, which is not like him. Doesn't usually arm wrestle like that. He's an athlete. He usually is on the A side. He's usually someone who attacks. On this occasion, he started off very defensively. It certainly cost him. Azat looked amazing the first two rounds. Top rolled smoothly, cleanly. And it looked like he was going to go on to win the match. But overall, banger. One I'd like to see rerun. Thought it was an exceptional pull. Really, really exceptional match. I'm not going to go through all the matches, guys, because I know that a lot of the channels will have done that. I'm just going to focus on a few that I really enjoyed. Please let me know in the comments what your favourite matches from East versus West 15 were. God, my wrist is sore. So a little story. After the show, I didn't feel too exhausted, but I was starving, wanted to get something to eat. So I'm leaving the venue and 6 or 7 novice lads came up, asked for a picture and so on. And then he said, "Oh, can we go on the practice table for a minute?" And I said, "Well, I don't really pull, guys, because I get a great deal of pain." "Oh, come on, just want to feel." So anyway, long story short story. I'd had a beer at this point, and I thought, yeah, okay, let's just have 2 seconds with them. So I took some pictures with them on the table and pulled 5 or 6 of the lads. They're novice guys, not big lads. I don't know, 75 to 85 kilo. They weren't big guys, and they were learning the game. One of them was pretty strong actually, but the rest of them not really overly experienced. I pulled a little bit. Didn't feel too bad, but I had a little bit of pain, but nothing bad. Had a couple more beers and some food. Stayed up stupid late till I think I went to bed at 6:30 a.m., which I'm super old. Can't do that anymore. I've turned into my dad. I can't pull the all-nighters anymore. It just destroys me. We got up the next day and we went to Yalova, which is Engin Terzi's hometown, and got in the gym there in the afternoon. We had myself, Dev, Jody, Hermes, Quality, Gasparini. We had Robert Baxter. For those who don't know Robert's a really solid arm wrestler. He's the guy who's just got involved with East versus West. He's business partner of Engin Terzi. Robert's a big man. He's a heavyweight, probably 6'4", 6'5", similar height to Dev. Very long lever, huge hand, multiple WAF Masters World Champion, still very active, still good shape, solid as hell. But we go into the gym, and Engin, the sneaky bastard, is like, "Oh, come on, Neil, pull Robert." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not really up for pulling, mate, to be honest. I get too much pain." And he said, come on, pull a bit. So do a couple of little warm-up pulls with Robert, let Robert take me over a couple of times. And then I says to Robert was super nice with me, wasn't being a dick, wasn't hitting, wasn't being aggressive. Neither one of us were moving hard, pretty slow thing. But I felt like, I did a couple of little teaser pulls last night with these kids, and I didn't feel too bad. So, yeah, be okay, let's go. We're going strap, so we're going to start in a strap. So we start in the strap, get stretched over a couple of times, and Robert says, "Okay, do you want to pull a little bit?" So I pull a little bit, and my fucking wrist dislocated. Oh, mate, like immediately, like I moved to the side, and as soon as I get a crank in my wrist, bloody thing dislocated, just moved out and moved down. Oh, let me tell you, that afternoon, I was in some pain, guys. I was in some pain. Stupid. Knew I'd hurt myself, but didn't think it'd be that bad. Oh, God, I was in pain. So I ended up doing like a packet of Nurofen, ibuprofen. I was rough. Oh, I felt like when you're a brand new guy and you get beyond belief arm pain, just shooters all down my wrist. And it still isn't right. It's really bad. I picked up my bag at the airport. When we got out of the airport, my old man came pick me up at the airport, and I picked up my bag to try and put it in the back of the car, and it was off again, agony again. So I love arm wrestling, and the moral of the story is, ladies and gentlemen, stay away from beer, because it gives you a degree of confidence that you probably shouldn't have. Yeah. So joking aside, I gotta see somebody again about this wrist, because the pain I was in with that was stupid. It really was. But back to matches. Enough of that boring rubbish. Back to matches. There were some nice practice pulls, actually, that day. With Robert Baxter and Hermes, with Devon and Hermes. I think everybody's seen. Ogajan and Devon, Ogajan and Hermes. Some good stuff. So that was fun. Thank you very much to Engin for hosting us at his home. Beautiful home in Yalova. Engin's kid, Emir, great young man. 15 years of age. Took us out that night, myself, Deb, Jode, James, Hermes. We went out for food, and we were chaperoned by young Emir Terzi. 15, 16, thereabouts. Lovely kid. And was our translator. Looked after us. Made sure we were able to translate everything when we went out into Yalova, and it was really nice of him to do that. So thank you very much, Emir, for your help with that. Back to the matches. Michael Todd, Gennady Quickvinya. That was very interesting. For a long period of time now, I felt like Mike's primary, most dangerous weapon is the press. Ordinarily, Mike tends to hit that when he's set somebody into a long match, got a degree of fatigue into their arm, as proved to be the case here. But what I will say is there is a willingness now, there seems to be more of a willingness now from Mike to utilise the press off the start. And he did that really effectively here a couple of times. I actually thought he was very unlucky not to get a pin earlier. That was, I think it was called, I'd need to go back and watch the tape. But I remember at the time thinking, oh, that looked pretty spot on. I also think that Michael didn't get pinned. Whether he would have been pinned is a different thing. But I thought that the pin was further up his arm, and I thought that Gennadi's palm contacted with the pad. Now, we didn't have the best view from that. So the referees were probably a lot better positioned, and they gave the pin. So, very likely it was, but it didn't look like it from where we were. Overall, though, amazing match. Wouldn't change a thing. Two of my favourite arm wrestlers in the world. Two very, very similar mentalities going head-to-head. Guys who don't have a backward step. Guys who will battle wherever the match goes on the table. Michael and Gennadi both using every inch of the table, every weapon in their arsenal. Mike was the better arm wrestler on the night, deserved the win. A couple of little mistakes from Gennadi. Maybe Gennadi could have won that match actually on another night. But that's the beauty of the sport at that level. There is no room for error. This isn't just a physical thing. It's a mental thing as well. It's a game of chess up there at the elite level. And Mike was really on his guns. He's training very hard right now. He's got an enormous amount of self-belief. And I love to see Michael do well. And he is doing well. And good on you, Mike. Really, really solid performance, mate. Against a super dangerous opponent. And against a man who's bested Mike in the past. And it's always nice to come back and be able to sort of set up a rubber match. So that's great in that respect. Probably my favourite match on the card. I'm just trying to think that I've not missed any out that I enjoyed more than this. But I think my personal favourite match on the card, probably Reno Masik and Ibram Sagovic. I thought that was a wonderful match. I thought it was everything good about arm wrestling. I loved the adjustments made. I love when you can see in an arm wrestling match, you can see an athlete going through the gears. You get the opportunity to see them use their repertoire, to see them go into the technical arsenal that they have available. And interesting little story for you. Went down to Monica's, which is a restaurant, like an open air restaurant just down from the Green Park where East versus West takes place. And coming along the waterfront there was Reno and his entourage. He had a few people there supporting him, as you probably heard on the live. And I just caught up with him and just started to chat with Reno. Love that guy. Reno's one of my favourite active arm wrestlers in the world right now. I absolutely love that kid. I think he's fantastic. I think he's the most talented young arm wrestler in the world. And that says something. But he is a very articulate, extremely intelligent, very technically versatile arm wrestler who's got a real raw, real feel about him. Not braggadocio, backs it up. He's very consistent. He's got it all. He doesn't have a big hand. He's got a pretty normal size frame for a heavyweight. He said to me exactly how that match would go. When I questioned him on it, he said, "What do you think?" I said, "Well, I think it's going to be a great match. I think you're the more versatile arm wrestler. He's probably a tad stronger." And he quit back with, he just said, "I think I'm also got better endurance. And I think that's going to be key in this match." And he then started to sort of walk me through the mental map that he had for how the match would go. And he was spot on. Reno Masik was spot on. He told me exactly how he felt the thing would go, said I might lose first round, maybe second, but I think I can get enough on him, enough of a bite on him to be able to take some bullets away, and I will catch him and beat him in the long grass. As we get to the later rounds, I'll start to take over. And that is exactly what he did. And I love that. I love when a guy's got that confidence and he's got the read on the match. He's obviously done his homework, and that was exactly spot on. I love the fact also that Ibram Sagovic was able to win round 6 when, I'll be honest with you, I did not expect that. Let me know in the comments whether you guys did. I thought it was amazing. After Reno looked like he was all but shot, he'd get gassed. He'd given everything he had and was coming up short, and Reno was getting into his running. Ibram looked like he was gassing out. Looked like he sold it all. But suddenly, Ibram comes out of nowhere, booming press, test your frame, how bad do you want it, and he comes up trumps. That was ace. And it led to the silver bullet, sudden deather. What better way? What a magical match, and what a great way to win the title. What a great way to take the East versus West crown at the 115. And Reno Masik has got an amazing future, mate. He's got an amazing future. That kid is iron, and more power to him, because what an ambassador for his home nation of Croatia, for arm wrestling generally. Good-looking kid, strong as Popeyes, pig, mega. Love him. Reno, congratulations, mate. If you do see this, I think you're iron. And also Ibram Sagovic. Ibrahim, keep your head up. You were outstanding, close, mate. And only been arm wrestling for a relatively short period of time, so expect way more from him. And there's a lot of great matches coming for Ibrahim in the 115s. I told you all. Bet Killy, for all those guys, and you know who you are, who sent me messages saying, you really think Bet Killy can beat Jacques? Well, yeah, and to be clear, a lot of it was down to the weight. I think if you put that match at a lighter weight, I think if you go 85 kilos, I think Oleg Jacques probably wins. I think Oleg Jacques is great at that weight. I think when you go up the weight, that Bet Killy is prime. He's perfect. He's spot on for him. And there he takes some beating. And I genuinely believe that Bet Killy is a force. Either arm, but that left arm, he's spectacular. He's such a superb mindset for the sport. And again, as I said about Reno Masik, for me, Bet Killy really is one of my favourite arm wrestlers in the game right now. He's right there with the Kyrdagali Ongabayevs. In terms of entertainment, audience appeal, if you're not a fan of Bet Killy, I don't know what to say. Oniani is just a quality arm wrestler. Brilliant mindset, brilliant head for the game, extraordinary strength and dynamism. Uses everything he has in matches and uses it very intelligently. Extremely technically articulate, solid as hell. Couldn't be a bigger fan of Bet Killy. And to watch how he gave pieces of himself to shut down Jacques' game. And Oleg Jacques is so dangerous, man. He is such a dangerous arm wrestler and so difficult to deal with. I felt for Oleg. He's a lovely kid, and he will be back. God knows he's been down a hard road. Terrible situation for Jacques, but wish him every success in bouncing back and continuing to be the awesome force that he is. I do think that Bet Killy is that little bit ahead in this at that weight class, but at 85, yeah, Jacques is no joke. So expect more from Oleg as we go forward. Vitaly Laletin. Wow. That was so impressive. I mean, it went to, I predicted that Vitaly would win. I didn't think he'd win that easy. I feel like Zeranov made a few mistakes, made a few errors. Trying to climb for height and contest the match high was a mistake. Then again, the word on the streets is that Vitaly is unhookable. There are different ways of hooking. There are different ways of top rolling. The selection of attack from Ziranov, the angle from Ziranov, considering where he is strong, where he's weak, where he's dynamic, where he's not, I thought was wrong. That said, if he'd done it slightly differently, would it have made any difference? I don't know. For me to sit here and, on a couch in the UK and say that he made errors, that's easy for me to say, isn't it? We've all been there and we've all had our ass handed to us. We know when you get up there and you feel a certain way against a certain arm wrestler, your mind plays tricks on you. So Georgi's still as much of a force as he ever was. It just underlines the degree of complexity for any arm wrestler, for any heavyweight that's going to face Vitaly Laletin, who, as I've said many times, I do believe is the most significant present threat right now to the number one spot certainly as an orthodox force. The other guys that can potentially do something there are unorthodox. One of them is on a resurgent rise. The other one is the next match to face, Levan Saginashvili. Jerry Cadaret is an X-Factor arm wrestler. Could he beat Levan? Starts as an underdog for me, but maybe, yes, maybe. He's got a set of weapons which are very, very difficult to emulate. For that reason, Levan's not going to have the opportunity to have trained against anyone who's going to bring what Jerry brings. And we've seen how, if you're not ready for what you're going to face from Jerry Cadaret, it can really expose you. And that match is coming, 14th of December at the King of the Table. So we will see Jerry next up. And Jerry looks amazing. I'll try and get Jerry on the fix next couple of weeks so you guys can have a Q&A session with him. But I'd love to see Jerry do well. Levan Saginashvili is very, very difficult to overcome. He's a very smart arm wrestler. Again, I talked about reads of matches. Levan reads matches extraordinarily well. Anybody out there who's thinking, as I've said many times, who thinks that Levan Saginashvili is just a big, super strong, thuggish puller with just raw power and without technical nuance, you are very much mistaken. The guy is sharp and powerful and fast. He is a package. He is the real deal. Let me tell you now. Ivan Matyushenko, Alijan Muratov. Went the way that I thought it may go. I had Alijan as a slight favourite there. I've got to say, Matyushenko looked amazing. Most, aesthetically at least, the most prepped I've ever seen him. He did say he had a few issues. He's a very real individual. I thought he performed brilliantly, and I do think he did have the capability to win the match under slight different circumstances. It's a little quicker here, a little different angle there. Then he could do something. But Alijan, let's be honest, remarkable puller. 106 kilos, I think he weighed for that match. And there is a very real argument for him being the man right now. I personally don't believe that's the case. I think that the number one left-hander in the world is very likely to be Vitaly Laletin. And I'm sure he will go on to test that theory very soon, I'm sure. Morozov is no joke either. Kamil Jablonski is a force and an ever-improving force left-handed. So don't sleep on that guy. I'm a huge fan of the Golden Dragon. I think he's a serious threat. But Alijan knocking on the door for the overall title, and I'm sure that fans would love to see him take that on. Great win for him against one of the most dangerous opponents in the world right now. But where is the ceiling? Where is the ceiling for Alijan Muratov? He is a special individual, super strong. Irakli Zirakashvili, so powerful in the strap. I had him as a 60-40 favourite. Thought he would be tested much more in that match. Potentially that was stopped a little bit by the start of the second round. There was a pretty significant injury to the wrist of Georgi Totiev. That was very evident from the position and the fact that he immediately went to looking at his wrist straight after the match. When you have some kind of injury like that and you are hitting with the ferocity that those guys are, you can't continue, and the writing was on the wall from that point. That said, would the result have changed if he'd stayed 100% fit? For me, no. I think Irakli Zerakashvili just had too much and was a very deserving winner on the night. Let's talk about David Samosia. So the talk was beforehand, did you believe in David Samosia being, what's the right way of saying this, steps ahead, being able to feed his opponent's rope to make the matches slightly more entertaining than they perhaps need to be? I did feel that was the case. I spoke to David Samosia, who is a very, very genuine guy. There's no sort of braggadocio with him. There's no bravado. Just does what he does, and he does it extremely well. He does it better than anybody else in the history of East versus West in terms of title defences, and he's faced murderers row, real killers, and Vladimir Mayorov ran him closer last time out. I think David Samosia came with a point to prove on this occasion. Point proven is all I would say. He looked amazing. There's people saying that, the second round was a pain. The referees were right on top of that. And the second round, I don't think was a pin. The first one, without doubt. The second round, I don't think was a pin. Testament to his dogged determination that David managed to pull that up from the death. But following that, it was done. I mean, he was in absolute cruise control. Mayorov a little frustrated after the match, didn't want to shake hands and stuff. I think that he'll calm down. We've all been there, but he'd probably regret that, actually. When he watches back, it didn't reflect well on him, and Vladimir's a good guy. David Samosia, couldn't be a bigger fan of the man. Personally, I believe that he's one of the most endearing arm wrestlers in the game. He doesn't have the ability to put across his character because of the language barrier there, but you can very much feel the reality of the guy when you're around David, and he's a very warm person. He is a magnificent arm wrestler. I want to just say, Team Georgia, I love Georgia arm wrestling. I love it. I think the whole mentality of the Georgian team, the approach to the sport, the stoic warrior mindset, everything about what the Georgians do in terms of the preparation, the manner in which they arm wrestle is very impressive. They are a global force in the game of iron arms. I mean, Nugo Shikadze. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comments. I love watching that guy arm wrestle. I don't know whether it's just the Tourette's thing, the ticking and, but that man is a ticking bomb is what he is. The guy is iron. His connection for a guy with a relatively short arm, not relatively, with a short arm, his connection against someone who's as big. I don't believe for 1 minute that Ogajan Kochak is at his best. But let's qualify that statement. I am not taking anything away from Nugo Shikadze because I think that guy is phenomenally powerful. I think if you rematch Petro Margarin, he would probably win. I think he's on the rise. I think he's training like a demon. And I think he's getting better and better. And I would love to see a match between Nugo and Yoshinobu Kanai. Oh, my word. What a match between Nugo and Todd Zilla, There's so many great matches out there for that guy. What a weapon. What an absolute weapon that fella is. Where is next? Where's next for Nugo Shikadze? What a brilliant arm wrestler. What an entertainer. One of the most exciting people to watch in the game, without a shadow of a doubt. Can't think of any matches I've missed there that really jump out as favourites on the night for me. The matches that I've discussed there were my standouts, without a shadow of a doubt. They were the ones that were most entertaining for me, apart from one. And it was entertaining for different reasons. It was entertaining because it underlined the level of No Limits Devon Larratt right now. The main event match was actually pretty pedestrian in terms of the match itself. Intriguing. What it led to, what it showed was far bigger than the match itself. I felt like, and I spoke to Devon privately before the match, I felt like Oleg is unbelievably strong, but he's a very measured quantity. He's a known quantity, and he does a couple of things very, very proficiently. He's massively strong, and he can shut out the light. He's a better arm wrestler than I thought he was, actually. I learned that at the King of the Table. But he's extremely strong, and yet against Devon, he is, in some respects, a lamb to the slaughter stylistically. He's almost designed for Devon to piece apart, and that is what happened. Devon was probably shocked by how comfortable it was. Speaking to Dev afterwards, he was respectful, but very aware that his level was different. He told me coming into the match that he was super strong. Dev takes a lot of bad press after matches for his antics at the table. All the, you lost control stuff. That is not what I saw at all. Speaking to Devon beforehand, speaking to Devon in the immediate aftermath of the match, he was extremely in control. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was going for the viral burn. He was going for the talking point. That is what he was pursuing. He was looking for the last and the first thing that anybody spoke about was him, his match, his antics, keeping him in focus. And when you go into something with that intention, and that is exactly what you get, he's probably sat down afterwards thinking, yeah, job done, because the day after, when I looked, the brief times I did on social media, and the people that have messaged me, and you know you are, all of the comments, positive or negative, were about No Limits Devon Larratt. About, do you think Dev would beat Morozov right now if they'd pulled, 7 rounds on the left arm for the gauntlet? Look, I don't even want to get into that right now, but all I'm saying is that it wasn't this wild, out of control savage up there. It was a very diligent, considered, methodical approach. Devon knew exactly what he was doing. He told everybody on Friday night privately what he was angling for, that he was trying to set up a match, a confrontation, an opportunity to get a match with Tom Morozov. And that is what he set out to do. One thing for sure, Devon Larratt at 105 is something special. I prefer to see him at the higher weight classes, to be perfectly honest. I don't think there is anybody at 105 that I see as a credible threat right now. I really don't. In fact, I'm going to say I'm struggling to see anybody as a credible threat at 115, with the possible exception, again, because of styles, of Ivan Matyushenko. The super heavyweights, different. There are some real threats in there. Obviously I've spoken about Vitaly Laletin. I'd like to see Devon pull Alex Kadecha. I'd like to see, there's a number of guys, Zeranov. There's a number of guys in there that are real problematic and very, very interesting. So Devon Larratt, once again creates the talking point that East versus West. He is the most controversial individual in the sport of arm wrestling right now by design. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. And yeah, while you're here, if this is your first visit to Supernatural Strength, give us a like, give us a sub, please. Small thing, but it's big to us. Hope you and your families are all really well, and you have a lovely weekend. I'll hopefully see you Sunday night for the fix. Take it easy, guys. Stay strong. Be stoic.